In this world, all writers, great or small, agree that while falling in love is easy, proving your love is crucial. In the town of Dallas, two star-crossed lovers, Hautner and Scarfina, discovered this truth in their own lives. He would always bring her ice flowers, and he would say, "I love you, Scarfina, and I would do anything for you." Scarfina would then reply, "Well, if you love me so much, why won't you marry me?" "I will," he always replied, "when I make my fortune, but I don't have enough to support you right now. But I will, eventually." Scarfina would then sigh, thank Hautner for the flowers, and take a walk with him. One day, Scarfina had had enough. "Well, why don't you go out and make your fortune now, instead of just leaving it to the future?" She then stormed off without another glance back. At first, Hautner was filled with shock, but that feeling quickly gave way to shame. He knew she was right. He should have gone out a long time ago. But he was frightened. He had never even gone outside of Dallas before. But as he thought of it, a nervous excitement of the unknown filled him, and a love for Scarfina drove him. So he packed a bag and left Dallas, leaving the security of his only world to make his way into another one. The excitement of the new was quickly replaced by the dread of a job. He tried being a street musician, but he wasn't very good at it. He tried being a catwalker, but that business failed miserably. He even tried just holding a sign, but couldn't even do that. Hautner tried job after job, but all for nothing. He was so tired of failing at everything. Then something came his way. It was a piece of cloth tailored as a cylinder with a wide rim on one end. Hautner picked it up. He didn't know what to do with it. He didn't even know what it was for. But better something than nothing, and Hautner had nothing. So he took it along with him, hoping that it would eventually come in handy. Hautner soon grew tired of carrying it, so he put it on his head. Maybe people won't stare, he thought miserably to himself. But people did stare, but not for the reasons Hautner thought. "Yo, mister," a snowman with paper and pen inquired. "I work at Snowmac, and I was wondering, what's that thing on your head? It's awesome!" Hautner, shocked, replied, "Well, it's a Hautner." The writer scribbled down the answer excitedly, and asked Hautner if he would give the writer an exclusive. The writer took Hautner to his editor, and the editor knew this was just what he was looking for. The editor told Hautner that he would give him the cover about him and his wonderful new idea, provided he changed the name. "Try a hat, and see how you like it." And Hautner did. The magazine went out, and everybody had to have a hat. Hautner had found his fortune. Hautner returned to Dallas, and there waiting for him was Scarfina. "I'm so proud of you, but why did you leave?" "I had to go and make my fortune, so we could get married." "Oh, Hautner," Scarfina said lovingly, "I just wanted you to ask me. I would have said yes." So, without further ado, Hautner and Scarfina were quickly married. He even made a special hat just for her. Hautner then went back to work, making more hats. He made big hats, little hats, crazy hats, plain hats, colorful hats, bland hats, square hats, round hats, even hexagonal hats. And everybody just had to have them. People just couldn't get enough of them. So Hautner created a show just to premiere his new line of hats. Scarfina was always with him. She would help in organization and was always there to see his new hats. She didn't like the after parties, though. She avoided them whenever possible. So Hautner went by himself to the parties, and that's where the troubles began. He started drinking a lot of maple syrup. Soon, all he ever had was maple syrup shots. He came home later and later. Sometimes he didn't come home at all. Scarfina confronted him about this, but it always ended in a terrible fight, with Scarfina storming off and Hautner getting more maple syrup. I don't want to stop drinking. Once, after a very long and hurtful fight, Hautner said that he wished he hadn't married her. "Fine!" Scarfina screamed. "Then there won't be a wife when you come home." Hautner didn't believe her, but when he got home after a night of partying, she wasn't there. For the first few days, Hautner pretended that nothing was wrong, but deep down he knew that everything was wrong. He needed Scarfina. So he cleaned up his act, stopped going to parties, and tried to be a better snowman. A few weeks later, Scarfina came back. Hautner swore that he would never hurt her again, and for a while he did keep his promise. But then he started going back to the parties and the drinking. He even started smoking pine needles. Scarfina confronted Hautner once more, but he made it clear he wasn't changing. This time, she left for good. Hautner once again missed Scarfina, but he knew she wasn't coming back. He missed the way she would wrap her arms around him when he was sad. He tried to make up for it by wrapping some long cloth around his neck. It helped, if only a little. One day he walked outside with the cloth around his neck, and people stared. Eventually someone came up to him and asked him what it was. "Oh, it's a Scarfina." People loved the product, but not the name, so they shortened it to Scarf. As the years went by, at night Hautner would sit by the ice and wonder whether Scarfina thought about him as much as he thought about her.